welcome back to Married with Media. We are here for our third movie.
Third movie.
Yeah.
We're doing good.
I know.
Doing good.
Third movie of our 13 Days of Horror event challenge. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yep.
So what are we watching tonight?
Tonight we are watching a Stephen King adaptation from 1984, Firestarter, starring Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
A very young Drew Barrymore. I think this was 2 years after E.T., so she's still still a little kid. She's probably like, I don't know, 9 or 10 in this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't really know too much about this one other than she starts fires.
Well, I watched this one a couple years ago, and the only thing I'll say is you're a fan of Stranger Things.
Sure.
You'll see some clear inspirations that Stranger Things took from this movie.
Oh, interesting.
When you watch it, it's very similar. Like Drew Barrymore's character is similar to Eleven.
Oh, all right.
Just in the terms of her abilities.
Gotcha.
So it's a good movie. I like the movie. It's not like a great masterpiece movie. It's not even really one that I would call like a full-on horror movie.
Right.
I'd put it still in that genre, but it's more sci-fi, I think.
Gotcha.
Than anything.
Didn't
kind of like Stranger Things.
Yeah. Didn't you put this on our list?
I did. Well, no, you mentioned wanting to watch this one. Because I think, I don't know, it came up and you mentioned wanting to watch it. So that's why I added it to the list.
I think I know what it was. It was when we were browsing the HBO.
Yes, when we were browsing for horror and you saw it and you said that looks interesting.
Yeah. I guess HBO thinks that it's a horror movie, so.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But not necessarily like a Halloween.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's not. I wouldn't say this is a scary movie.
Gotcha.
I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But either way, we're gonna be watching it. Like he said, first time watch for me, not for you.
Yep.
But we'll see how we feel about it, and we'll get back on here and chat.
Yep. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Watching Drew Barrymore start some fires.
All right, guys. So we just finished Firestarter.
Yep. Took us about 3 hours to do a 2-hour movie. We stopped at 8 and yeah.
But that's true in true fashion with us.
Yeah. It was a long movie. I forgot how long it was, and it was almost 2 hours. I was like, oh, it's only an hour and a half. No, it's 2 hours.
Yeah.
What you got over there?
This is Cupcake. She is our 14-year-old Shih Tzu. She can barely walk. She can't see. She can't hear. So anyway, there's that.
Yeah.
But so I will just say, going into this as a first time watch, it wasn't terrible. It was too long. Drew Barrymore is great.
Yeah. No wonder she became a big star.
Yeah. For me, she's definitely the highlight of the movie, which makes sense because it's essentially about her. But
movie's got a good cast. You got George C. Scott, which I don't think you know who he is, but he was in a lot of classic movies in the 60s and 70s. He plays the older guy with the eye patch.
Oh, okay.
But basically the villain of the movie.
Gotcha.
Is what he ends up being. And it's got Martin Sheen in it, who was also in The Dead Zone, which came out a year earlier, and that was a Stephen King movie also.
Gotcha.
But the dad in the movie, who is trying to think of David Keith, is his name. He's not a very good actor. He was easily the worst part of the movie for me.
Yeah, he had a bunch of just funny scenes unintentionally. Like his lines were just so over the top, corny. But as we've talked about in our other movies on our 13 Days of Horror, 80s is just the time for the cheese, right?
It is. I mean, you get some in the 90s too. I feel like there's cheese in every decade, but in particular, the 80s definitely has a certain style of cheese that I've grown accustomed to and actually kind of love. But yeah, in this, I just thought his performance was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. I like how by the time you get to the end, it's like full on, like an action movie pretty much.
Yeah,
she goes like
funny.
full Terminator on everybody.
I don't know if they were just trying to like say that she's just super powerful, but I thought it was kind of weird that being like a child and using all that strength or whatever, like she never like had any like breakdowns, I feel like, because like the dad, when he would use his power, his nose would bleed and stuff.
Yep, and like, that you got the Stranger Things reference I was talking about, because they clearly got that from this movie.
Yeah, but like with her, I mean, she just like kept using her powers, and she would like sweat or whatever, but like she wouldn't collapse or act weak or anything. So I thought that was strange.
Well, she would get a little hot when she used it, and that would cause her to sweat, because they show when she was in that room and she caught everything on fire and she blew everything up. Like the external temperature was like 7,000 degrees and hers was like 103.
But still, what's a little sweat?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's what they were trying to say, because she was the product of two, like, I guess, genetically altered individuals, I guess is what they were. And I think she was the first one that was born of two of those.
Gotcha.
So she was like, I guess they were trying to say like she was something different. Like she was like mega powerful.
Yeah.
And basically going to be like a weapon of mass destruction at some point. It made me a little disappointed that there wasn't a Firestarter 2 with Drew Barrymore, because there was one made for TV one like in the early 2000s, but I wish they would have capitalized on her stardom maybe in the 90s and came back and did a second one with her.
Really? Because I feel like they wrapped it up nicely. I feel like she's going to try to have a normal life now.
Yeah. But I would have liked to seen her deal with like some of the trauma maybe like in her older life, because she straight up murders like 150 people in that final sequence. So you got to think that there's some kind of trauma that comes with that.
Behind the scenes stuff. She grows up, goes to therapy, and in the end.
Yeah, I guess. But overall, it's a solid 80s movie. Like I said, it's not horror at all. It's just more sci-fi action.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is I definitely would not like put this on a Halloween watch list again. This is definitely something that I would watch at a different time.
There are horrific scenes. I mean, she straight up like melts people and like their skin.
I wouldn't
burns
really call
off
that
of
horrific, though. I don't know. I wasn't.
Yeah, but not really horror. I don't know. Oh, what would you give this movie out of 5? Out of 10, whatever you want to score.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 10 because that's just how I prefer it. But I'm gonna say 7 out of 10. 7
out of 10. That's fair. I give it probably a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I maybe a 7.5, but we'll just say
it's 7. Pretty good. It's a little too long. That's what I'll say about it. They could have trimmed it down a little bit.
That's just like a big negative for me.
And it feels like 2 movies in one, because the first part you have them, they're on the run, her and her dad, and then the second part is them like facing off against George C. Scott.
There could have been 2 of them, but they decided to put it all together.
Yeah. And then you got, we forgot to mention, but Heather Locklear's in this movie for like, I don't know, 2 scenes, I think. So yeah. There you go. Appreciate everybody watching. Please comment down below if you like the movie Firestarter. If you've seen it, what are your thoughts on it? Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for more spooky content as we get 10 more movies left to go in this 13 Days of Horror Challenge. Can you handle it? I think we're doing pretty good. We'll knock it out. We'll knock it out.
What is today? The 5th?
The 5th. Okay. Yep. But we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.